working with the incomparable Jim Carrey. What was that like? He's a comedic genius. Did you pick up anything from him in terms of comedy acting?
It was really interesting to watch his process, of course, how he is a mad scientist. He really is. He's a comedic scientist. And I think just watching how he would make subtle changes, big changes. He would do the scripted version, and then he would have pages and pages of alts to try stuff that he had written the night before, or an idea that came to him. And he would just make these subtle little changes, and the comedy would land differently. And he's just, it was so cool to watch. The first day that we worked together, I think I told people this, but I was worried that I would cry. You know, when you meet somebody who you've watched your whole life, and I loved him so much. I did impressions of him very early in my career to get my acting manager, and to work with him, I was very worried that I was gonna cry. So I was telling everybody just to like let the charge out a little bit, and thank God I didn't in front of him. I didn't cry to his face, but I kept it together. I was very cool, but I did a lot of acting.
Truman Show for me. What about
Truman
you?
Show. I love Truman Show. I love when he does that kind of smaller, contained work, because he's so alive and there's so much going on in his eyes. I also really loved Eternal Sunshine, but for me it was like In Living Color, Liar Liar, Ace Ventura.
I love Liar
Dumb
Liar.
and Dumber. I think Dumb and Dumber I've probably seen the most out of all of them.
I think Liar Liar is underrated.
Liar Liar
is one of my faves.
Is so good. Liar Liar is so good. So good. He's so funny.
So good.
He just, he's like created a language, like the same way like Tim Burton. You can look at one image and be like, oh, that's so Tim Burton. You can like look at the music of Jim Carrey's comedy and be like, oh, it's so Jim Carrey. He's just doing his own thing. He's like just one in a billion.
You recently discussed taking your son to go see Wicked.
Yeah.
To kind of prepare him to kind of see this, to see you,
yeah.
to see you on the screen.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? And has he seen you before? Like,
So the movie I was just talking about, he was with me. He was about 15 months old, and I played a big, scary, mean witch, and I would practice some of my lines on him, but he would laugh, and he would be on set and see me in these big costumes. And now the kid's obsessed with Halloween, and I don't know why, like, we wonder why, because he was exposed to all of that, like, fun, over-the-top, scary stuff. So that's the only thing that he has seen. He's seen, I have some Jessica Jones little action figures, so he knows about Jessica Jones, but he cannot see any of that ever. So this will be the first thing that he's able to see of my work, which is really exciting.
This is a deep cut, but I am such a huge fan of Don't Trust the Bee. That was one of my favorite comedies, and I wish it ran for seasons and seasons.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
Do you have any favorite memories of working with James?
Oh, I love James. The Dancing with the Stars stuff still makes me laugh. We got along so well. We had such a great time together. The People magazine. People magazine was my absolute favorite thing in comedy that I've ever done. The Smack Witch. Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh!
You gotta watch that episode.
Go back.
That's a good rewatch. I rewatched that episode maybe like a year ago, and I was like, this is gold. This show was so ahead of its time. It was so well written. It was so fun. I loved playing that character so much.